silly.
I know. Shouldn't feel as nervous as I do, but I do.
Yes.
So
Nice not to be alone. There you go.
yeah. Okay, so how do we want to start this? Do you want to start with, I guess your side called this wage negotiation into effect, so maybe we should
Sure.
start with your side.
Okay. So based on the Me Too clause that the union wanted to be present in our 1981 contract, we have reevaluated wages, and we've seen that everybody else in the industry has greatly reduced wages over the last 2 years. And in order to remain profitable as a company, we feel that we need to do the same. We know that you guys are not in favor of this, obviously, because it is reducing wages. But in order to save everyone's jobs and to keep this facility making money instead of losing money, we feel that we need to reduce wages to a rate of $9 an hour for the rest of this contract.
Okay. So our thought on the Me Too clause when we initially agreed to it on the first contract in 1978 was that the Me Too clause was put into effect to protect the workers. That if other industries or other companies in the industry raised their wages, then ours would be raised as well. And it was never a thought of ours that the Me Too clause would be turned around and used to reduce wages. And if that had been the case, if that had even been a thought, we would have used restrictive language in the contract to make sure that that wasn't the case. We believe that if you decided to enforce this clause, that an arbitrator would actually rule against your side. And so we feel that that would not work in your favor, so to speak. And the fact is of the matter as well is that Baxter has remained profitable in our area. Plant coming into effect with those workers working extra hard to make sure that the new plant is running smoothly, and the sorry, I lost my train of thought. And the fact that we've also made many concessions in that original contract as well, concerning the guaranteed pay, the control over how the plant is run, our worker autonomy, and the annual bonuses has all been eliminated. We feel that the work that the employees are doing is even greater now than it has been in the past. And it's shown because the company is still profitable when other companies are losing money or going bankrupt. So we feel that there's going to be even more market share coming our way. And so we feel that, in fact, rather than a wage decrease, that a wage increase should come into effect in the amount of $11.50 an hour.
All right. So we have quite a ways to bridge there.
Yes.
We actually, I understand how you feel, obviously. This is a small town that we're operating in, and these are people who have known each other for generations, and we definitely don't want to do anything to hurt the town or to hurt those people that we consider friends and oftentimes family in this town. But it is, we believe, in everyone's best interest to reduce our labor rates as much as possible. Our labor rates are very high for the industry right now. And because other facilities in the area have already reduced their pay up to 40%, we will not be able to remain profitable if we don't make some changes. According to this Me Too clause, which we agree we never could have foreseen when it was written that things would have changed the way that they have in the industry. But according to this clause, if you calculate the highest three other paying plants in our industry, the average rate is $8.67 an hour. So at our current pay scale, we are about $2 an hour higher than that, which is just not going to allow us to stay profitable. So we feel that we are being fair. We are coming in higher than this clause states that we have to. We are trying to do the right thing by you guys. We would be willing to come up a little bit, but ultimately we do need to reduce our labor costs if we are going to be able to remain profitable and be able to not have to start laying people off.
I would like to ask a question. When you keep saying remain profitable, the company is profitable and has been profitable. Other companies other companies have had to reduce wages because they were losing money, not because they were still profitable. In fact, since 1979, profitability has increased with the company while our base rate has stayed at 1069. So saying that it is something that has to be done just because other companies in the industry are doing it doesn't necessarily prove to be true according to the numbers, the financials of the company. With the base rate of 1069, the company has steadily increased. There was a significant drop off in profitability because of the market from 1978 to 1979. We acknowledge that. But since 1979, again, the profits have increased for the company, while the workers have been making concessions in other areas, such as the annual bonuses and the incentive pays that were cut from the original contract. And the fact states as well that we are currently in a contract, a 7-year contract, and so wages shouldn't even be up for discussion until 1985.
It was actually stated that wages were able to be redetermined after 3 years, which is why we're meeting at this point.
Let me double check that.
I don't remember where I read it, but I know I read it. And we also feel that the profitability has increased so much because of these new facilities that we've built. There is a lot more automation, which allows things to be done a lot more quickly and a lot more efficiently than it was when we were relying on workers alone. And we feel that you guys are doing a great job. You are learning the new operations well, but at the same time, we have made your jobs easier. There's a lot more physical labor required of you now because of the level of automation than there was when you were doing everything by hand. So we can come up to 925. What are you guys willing to do?
We definitely do not feel that any wage decrease, we would be willing to stay at 1069 because we do feel that a wage increase is warranted. As far as the 3-year freeze that you were referring to, that was settled on in 1981. So that time still has not come up for the 3-year freeze of wages. And so that would not be in effect until 1984, when wages could be discussed again at that point. So let's see.
So from my understanding, we are meeting now so that when that 3 years is up, things can go into effect. But it would not go into effect until that 3-year time span had finished.
Okay, because the information that I have here says that when Baxter approached the other companies with the Me Too clause, the $9 effect went into effect in 1983, and then rising to $10 in 1984.
Yes, that is what those companies had decided on.
Okay, so ours would be different and wouldn't go in effect until 1984?
Until the 3 years were up, yes.
That was a little bit different than what I was reading, but okay.
That might have been my interpretation. I'm not sure.
Sure. Again, we feel, yes, to your point of the with the new plant reducing physical labor, there has been still extra work that has been done with learning the new materials, learning the new systems, as well as the fact that we've saved you a lot of money in what would have been hiring an entirely new workforce to come into that new plant had you not remained with the local 190 in the first place. And so,
but if we had hired a new workforce, we could have hired non-union employees, which would have been willing to work at a much lower rate. So that didn't really save us any money long term. And also, you've said a couple times that incentive pay and bonuses and other things have been done away with. While that is true that not everyone is getting that, there is a fund that has been contributed into, and employees who were employed before 1981 are still being paid from that fund to bring their wages up to what they were before that changed. So I don't think that should come into play right now.
Yes, for the incentive system, yes. The annual bonuses, though, were taken out, and we lost control of the autonomy within the workplace. And again, we feel like the Me Too clause is being vastly misinterpreted, and that it would not.
But you guys are the ones who wanted it, so it goes both ways.
Well, and again, if it were to go to arbitration, we definitely feel that it would not go in your favor.
We disagree.
So we don't feel like that's even a worry for us at this point. But going again back to the profits, why do you feel like you will not remain profitable when you have seen profits increase still over the past 4 years?
Because everyone else in the industry is cutting labor costs significantly, which will allow them to reduce the cost of their product going forward, which will take away from the market share that we are selling, which will in turn reduce our profits. And if we don't do something to be able to keep our prices competitive, then we will not be competitive as a company, and we will not be able to make money.
But what if, with those companies that have gone bankrupt, what about the market share that you'll be gaining from them?
I believe that those who went bankrupt were able to then come back in some form or fashion with new workforces and slightly reconfiguring the company. But based on what I read, it sounded like even those who went bankrupt were able to come back from that.
Okay. It's really hard to do this when we don't have each other's information.
It is, and I think that
because it doesn't say that at all in our reading.
Yeah.
I know. I cannot betray the employees who already feel that they already feel threatened because they don't have the permanent working agreement anymore. It's now become a 7-year contract instead of this working agreement that's been in place since 1940. And so our workers already feel threatened, and reducing their wages at this point would cause vast demotivation throughout the company, which could lead to either people quitting or less productivity. You won't be getting as much out of the workers as you would want to. And we would agree to stay at the 1069, but we just do not feel that lowering the wages at this point is something that is viable for the workforce. We have not seen, it has not been proven that the company will lose profits just because the other companies have reduced wages. Our contract is up in 1985, so a reevaluation in 1985 seems fair, because then you'll be able to assess how the company has performed against the other companies for 2 years after they have reduced their wages. But in a mid-contract negotiation for reducing wages without any representation of numbers, we just do not feel that lowering the wages under 1069 is doable at this point.
Okay, let me come back. We are very aware that all of these contracts will be renegotiated in 2 years. As a show of good faith to the company, that you are willing to work with us, that you are trying to do what's best for the company as a whole and not just for the union, would you be willing to come down to, say, 1040 for the next 2 years? And then we are open to renegotiating based on how the company is producing at that point.
I think 1040 would be fair.
Okay. All right. So we can settle on that going forward.
We'll go to 1040. And then, okay, so end role play scene.
Yes, there we go.
Now we're going to go back to our groups and discuss this and read the new thing. And then will you and I meet for a short time before, or will we all meet together right away?
I don't know. I was thinking we would just meet together straight away.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Wait, you mean as a group?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just let our group know that. So.
Okay. And do we then want to start another discussion, or does one of us just want to send out the link and we can all join back in?
Oh, that's a good thought. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, we should do that.
Okay.
I don't care either way. I can do that, or you can do that, whichever you prefer.
Okay. Why don't we just say whoever is ready first, go ahead and send out the link, and the other group can join in.
Okay.
And we're gonna shoot for 1:50 to come back together. Is that right? Or whatever time it is.
Okay,
10 minutes till the hour.
10 to the hour. Okay. Sounds
yes.
good.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.